Okay, so I just wanted to do this video. There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, you shouldn't work for a carpet store, work by yourself, or I actually seen a video last night where a gentleman put it up and he said he Googled it, and the average carpet layer, Google said, made $44,000 a year. I asked, that tweaked some curiosity with me. So this morning I asked Siri, how much does a carpet installer make? And she said like $37,000. Well, I don't know how people can only make that much money, and if you're only making that much money, you got to be working for box stores, or it's trickling down through 3 or 4 different people. So and if you ask people, I've had this question a lot: do you work for a carpet store or do you work by yourself? Well, excuse me, I kind of work for a carpet store and I kind of work for myself. What it is, I'm in a situation now where I've got in good cahoots with the carpet store, and they actually will sell the carpet, but they do not supply installers. What they'll do, they'll just set you up with an installer, but they have no ties with the installer whatsoever. I don't get paid from the carpet store. I get paid at the end of each job by the customer. So I am, on that sense, self-employed. I do work for myself. I do my own taxes. I don't have taxes taken out and stuff like that from the carpet store. And is there benefits of working by yourself? Or that's good to know. Or is there benefits of working for a carpet store? Well, that was the reason why I wanted to search that out and ask Siri, how much do carpet installers make? And $37,000. That really blew my mind. I think that number comes from people that work by themselves. I've always, excuse me, I got something going on with my throat there. How you doing, mate? Self-employed is the way forward. When you're direct for one company, they take the piss out of you. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I've always worked for a carpet store myself, and even the very first year, when I was 19 and I started working for myself, even that year I made $54,000. And so I don't know, and that was 20 plus years ago. So wherever subcontracting through Carpet One, I would never go hourly installing. I don't blame you one bit. Installers never should work hourly. I always work by the yard or square footage, depending on carpet or solid surface. So hourly rate, I turned down, when I was 19, I turned down $75 an hour 20 plus years ago, because you can go do 1 hour's worth of job for a minimum and make 135, 140 bucks an hour. So, and that's not even the height of it. I mean, if you get on decent jobs, some of these jobs that you've seen me here lately, for instance, the church and stuff like that, it's easy to make $1,000, $2,000 a day. So by no means is it good to go hourly or anything like that. But anyway, the gist of the whole thing I wanted to point out about working for a carpet store or working for yourself, I know people that strictly work for themselves and they don't take any work from carpet stores or anything like that. Those guys are probably only making $37,000 or $44,000 a year, because they are out doing their own foot running. They got to go hustle their own jobs. They got to go measure their own jobs. They got to go bid their own jobs, and they got all that extra work, and that's work in itself that you don't even get paid for, you know. So I don't see how anybody, this is my opinion, how anybody, I'm trying to get my phone set up here, I don't see how anybody can say that working for yourself, unless you're just really big and you've got tons of people working for you, I don't see how anybody can say that it's better to work for yourself when you have to do all the running, like I said, all the bidding, measuring, hustling up jobs and all of that stuff. I'm not going to put a bunch of numbers out there, but I've been pretty prosperous ever since I was 19 working for myself, and I've always got work from a carpet store. And a benefit of that is, as long as the carpet store is doing work, yeah, I hear you. I don't blame you there. As long as the carpet store has got work, you've got work. So if you get in cahoots with a good carpet store, I've only worked for a box store for one short period of my life, and that was as soon as we moved here from Tennessee. I actually got in with a company that was subcontracting for Lowe's, and I installed for Lowe's for about a year and a half until I got in with these people here. Outside of that, I've always been with the mom and pop stores, if you get my drift. Little family owned businesses that look at you as a human being and not as a number or a paycheck. So those are the best type of stores. I would highly recommend not working for a box store. Find you a little hole in the wall carpet store that has got a good reputation in your town, and go with them, and you can move right up. Okay, your work ethic and your work quality and stuff like that, it don't matter if that carpet store has had the same installers for 20 plus years, 15 years, 10 years. If you go in there and you're showing that you're doing good work and the customers are calling back saying these people were awesome, they did a great job and stuff like that, that carpet store is going to put you out there first, even before the people that's been there for 20 plus years. So I'm sorry, I keep getting stuff popping up on my screen and it's distracting me. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so it's much better just run them out there. Yeah, well, I don't like to do that. There's plenty enough work anywhere I've ever worked. There's always been enough work, because when you get those small mom and pop businesses, people like to shop with them. I had that experience with Lowe's, like I said, for about a year and a half, and it was a dramatic difference. The type of people that shop at box stores and the type of people that shop at mom and pop stores is like night and day. Okay, they are like, the people that shop at the box stores feel like you owe them your life, and you don't owe them nothing, you know, outside of a day's work, an honest day's work that they're paying you for. So there's totally a different class of people that shop at mom and pop stores and then shop at box stores. And like I said, you can work your way up. If you snap, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, if you get in with a good family-owned business, and for instance, right down here where I'm at now, it's a place called Bobby Joe's Rug Works. They have been family-owned, and they still are family-owned. Even the founder of the store still comes in and works a couple days a week, and the carpet store is run by 3 women. They've been here in business since 1977, and they have a really good reputation. And it's because they don't hire every little jack of the trade that thinks he can do floor covering. They are real particular about who they hire. Whenever they first hired me, as soon as I come to Tucson, I was looking for jobs, and I'm old school. I don't go to a computer and try to find work. I'm not like that. I want to go to the person. I want to go to the carpet store, see them face to face, and talk to them face to face. And that's how, anytime I've ever had to find a job, that's how I do it. I don't go calling, hey, you need any help or whatever. I'm a face to face type of person. You can't see what a person's about over the phone. You can tell a lot by looking at a person's face when you're talking to them. You can see their emotions by their expressions and stuff like that. So if you can read somebody like that, you can tell a whole lot about a person just by talking to them. So I've always went face to face when I'm looking for a job. I don't never call and say, hey, you guys looking for somebody. Anyway, it took me, when I first moved here, I started with Lowe's, like I said, because that was the first place I could get on, and I stayed there until something better come along. Well, as I done it, I got yellow pages. I got the yellow pages and I got the address, and I just went to all the carpet stores in Tucson, and this was the place that caught my attention. They family-owned business, so this is the one that I pursued and pursued and pursued and pursued. And after about a year or a year and a half of just steadily going in there and saying, hey, do you guys need any work? I don't know how many times I heard, no, we don't need any work. We've got our same installers that we've had for 15 or 20 plus years. And that did not stop me. Every time I would go by the store, I can't say every time, but most of the time whenever I would happen to drive by, I would stop in there, hey, you guys need anybody yet? The persistence paid off, because after probably, like I said, a year or so of going in there and asking them, they finally gave me a job. It was just a small little one room, if I ain't mistaken, and they didn't call me back or nothing for about a month or so. And then they finally called me back, said, hey, you want to do another little job? I was like, sure. So they went and done that, and I didn't realize that at the time. They was testing me out, seeing how things were going to go, seeing what kind of feedback they got from the customers and stuff like that before they kept and just piled me up with work. Well, the more I did, the more they liked it, the more they give me. So when you come across a place like that that cares that much about their the people that they send to their jobs, those are the kind of people that you want to work for, because they care about the people, and you're not just a paycheck to them. And I make sure to, I think this is really important, I always make sure to show my appreciation a couple times a year, once a year, 2 times a year, or whatever. I'll just, if I don't have time, I will have my wife cater lunch or whatever like that to everybody that works at the store. Just treat them to Chipotle, or send them all gift cards for Subway or whatever. Anyway, just to show the appreciation, because they, you know, I'm not necessarily working for them, but they give me so much work that I have to turn down work and give it away to other people. I got customers that call me on my own. Sometimes it'll take me 2 or 3 months to get there. I always have stuff on the schedule marked must be Reuben, because word of mouth is still the best advertisement. Word of mouth is better than Google. Word of mouth is better than Yelp. It don't matter what it is, what kind of advertising is out there, word of mouth is the best. So is it better to work for a carpet store or to work for yourself? I am going to have to say, from my own experiences, I think that it's definitely better to work for a store that has consecutive work. It's all about consistency. If you're working for yourself, you're out, you're hustling and all that stuff. And I am staying busy year round, maybe have 1, maybe 2 days a year off, because of this carpet store is super busy. Okay, so if I'm out there hustling work myself, I'm not going to get that kind of work. And like I said, unless you're just a big timer, which I've never been a big timer. I don't want to be a big timer. I have tried running multiple crews and stuff like that, and the quality of work definitely goes downhill, and I am not about that at all. I would rather work strictly for myself, by myself, as far as that goes. I don't want a multiple crews out there that I got to babysit and make sure everything is done right and stuff like that. So anyway, it pretty much all comes down to your work ethic. If you do a good job, that carpet store that you're working for is going to realize that, unless it's a box store, of course, because they really don't care about the individual whatsoever. That's why I am so much for a mom and pop store or a little family owned business. And you can make decent money. The $37,000 that I got from Siri, and the other guy said he did $44,000, is what Google said. That's hogwash. That is box store pay. So you can easily make 100 plus, 100,000 plus, just you and one other guy, or even just you yourself. As a matter of fact, since Jerry has been gone in April, I have not made so much money in my life that I have in these past 6, or I don't know how many months it's been, but if I had known that, I would have been by myself a long time ago, because you do not have to split the profit with nobody. And you might have to work a little bit longer hours and a little bit harder, but the money sure shows it. It sure makes up for the extra time and the extra labor. So a person can make good money and stuff like that. You just have to be a hard worker. You have to be honest with your customers and with the carpet store. I don't know how many times that I've actually been to the carpet store and say, something has happened on the job, and I just want you to be aware of that in case somebody calls and says something. You'll have a heads up and you'll know how to approach the person whenever it comes. Now, that kind of sounds like I'll probably mess up all the time, but that really ain't the case. But anyway, if anything does happen or anything like that, I always let the carpet store know. That way they can be prepared for it. Sometimes I will try to do a little something easier way, and it kind of eats at my conscience. And I've actually went to the carpet store and told them I've been slacking off a little bit lately, and they won't even know it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still getting my jobs done and everything like that, but I myself am not living up to the standards that I set for myself. And when you set standards for yourself, keep them. If you don't keep them, don't be ashamed to tell somebody, okay? Let them at the carpet store know, I've been slacking off a little bit lately. Even if they don't see it, they're going to appreciate your honesty and your integrity. The owner looked over at her daughter when I told her that, and she said, he's apologizing for slacking off a little bit. You know, it just blew their mind that somebody would be like that. But honesty, integrity, and if you can't get the job done, do all you can to get the job done. I've had 3 jobs in the past 8 years that I've been here in Tucson that I've not been able to complete on the allotted time. And it's just simply because they're turned out to be more work or something like that. It's not because I left at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and say, oh, it's 5 o'clock, it's quitting time. No, the other day was one of those jobs. I worked all night long, went home, took a shower, and drove right back to Tucson and loaded my van up for the next day and went and did that job. Those are 2 of the jobs that I did not finish in time. The second one that I went and loaded up for, I was just absolutely beat down, and it took a lot longer. My wrist was hurting. I got some little bit of health issues. I don't like to say that, but anyway, I was just going through some pain, and I was extremely tired. So the job that I went and loaded up for after working all night long, I was not able to complete that. I had to go back on a Sunday after church and do the steps. That's what I had left, was the steps. But I did not get the job done because it wasn't because it was 5 o'clock and it was time to go. I stayed there and I worked all night long to get the job done. As long as the customers are happy, and 99% of the time the customers are going to be happy if you stay a little longer and get the job done even earlier. If you got 2 days scheduled for the job and you're ahead of time and you say, hey, I can get this job done today and we won't have to bother you tomorrow if I can stay till about 8 or 9 o'clock, would you guys be okay with that? And most of the time they are going to be fine with that, because they don't want to have to deal with you tomorrow. So, or if you are running behind, you see some unforeseen things and you're running a little bit behind, say, do you guys care if I stay a little bit late? I can have this wrapped up by 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow, and I won't have to come back tomorrow. We won't have to inconvenience you or anything like that. Customer, you just talk to them. You know what I'm saying? If people have a problem talking to customers, if people have a problem with I can't even think of the word. If people have complexes and they're not good at talking to people or whatever, the best way to get over any complex is to do right the opposite. If you find yourself having a hard time talking to customers, by all means go overboard and talk to them, and you'll break through that barrier in your life, and you'll overcome that complex in your life. Any complex you have in your life, just do right the opposite of it. If you're bashful, if you're self-conscious about the way you look, or whatever, you just do right the opposite, and you're going to get over that. Okay, so you don't have to go out and be a salesman. You don't have to sell your jobs and make money like that. You don't have to have 5 or 6 crews to make 100,000 plus in a year. You can do it working by yourself, working from a carpet store. If you do quality work, be honest, and have character. Those are the 3 main things. If you want to see some more about that, check out my video on common tips for a successful install. There's numerous amount of tips that you can have. There you go. Thank you, MCS. There's numerous amount of tips in there that allows me to get along with the customers, makes the customers want me to come back, and stuff like that. You know, just having a good relationship with your customers and with your carpet store. Let them know you appreciate them. Let the carpet store know you appreciate them. Let your customers know you appreciate them. Everything is based on relationship. You can do an absolutely horrible job, and if that customer is, you and that customer are friends, at the end of the day, they're not going to say nothing to you about nothing. If there's something a little bit tweaked out that should be done a little bit better, 99% of the time, if you're working for a mom and pop store, they're not even going to look at that, because you're a good guy, they like you, you're friends, and they don't want to cause you any trouble. Now, on the other hand, if you're at a box store, they don't really care, because they're not looking at you, they're looking at the box store. The box store needs to come and fix this. They're by no means looking at the individual. They feel like Lowe's needs to come take care of this. Home Depot needs to come take care of this. On the other hand, a mom and pop store, they're looking at you as a human being, not as a number, okay? That's my advice on working for yourself or working for a carpet store. This is the only time I've ever been in this situation where I've actually collected from the customers at the end of each job. I've always... all the other carpet stores that I've worked for or with, they have all been family-owned business, little hole-in-the-wall carpet stores. And again, they treat you like people rather than a paycheck. But at the same time, you have to make yourself an asset for that company, okay? If you're going in there and you're causing a bunch of problems with your work, you're not showing up on time and stuff like that, thank you, Jared, and you're causing them more trouble than you're causing them, than you're benefiting them, naturally they're going to let you go, okay? They're not going to give you a bunch of work. You have to be an asset for that company. You have to be able to make them money. If like I said, if you're costing them money, if you're constantly being late for work and having the customers call in and say, where's so-and-so at, are we scheduled for this job still today? You have to do your part and be an asset to that company, to where that company pretty much needs you. Naturally, everybody's replaceable, but whenever you do a great job and you get so many people calling back on your work and complimenting the carpet store and saying they loved having you out, it was just a pleasure for them people to be in my house, they were so respectful, they did an excellent job, I really enjoyed having them out, that carpet store, you are bringing them carpet stores business, because they're going to tell their neighbors, and then they're going to get the same feedback from them. They're going to tell their neighbors. The carpet store is going to see that, and they're going to give you the bigger and best jobs. Okay, so that's how you can make 100 plus a year, 100,000 plus a year, working by yourself or working with one other crew. Okay, I'm not going to get too detailed into the numbers, but it's very easy to do. All you have to do is do quality work and be appreciative of what you receive. Okay, yeah, you don't have to go out and buy them people lunch, and you don't have to do this and stuff like that. You know, I don't know how many times I've just stopped by Krispy Kreme on my way to the job and just buy a box of donuts for the people that I'm going to. Random strangers, I don't even know them at all, but it's just a nice gesture, and they're going to refer you to somebody else, which and ultimately brings in the carpet store. Brings the carpet store more business. So again, the carpet store is just going to keep stacking you up with work. If you're bringing them work, they're going to stack you up with work, because it's a circle. If that makes sense, you're bringing them work, they're going to give you more work because they want more work. So it's a repetitive circle. So you do excuse me, you do right by the carpet store, they're going to do right by you. Unless, hold on. Again, if you're just causing them all kinds of problems and stuff like that, naturally they're not going to. They're going to put you down. They're only going to give you minimum amount of work. They're only going to give you minimum size jobs. They're not going to trust you to go out and do this big job. My first couple of years here with Bobby Joe's, when me and Jerry first started, we hammered everything out. I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable sending me out to any size job, and I was going to give them good results. I was going to give them everything I had for two years, maybe even longer than that. I don't even know. But anyway, we hammered it out to build our confidence up in that business. And it was even before the 2 years were out that I hope people don't see this and get offended by this, but we went from not even getting any work from Bobby Joe's at all to exceeding, to getting the bigger and better jobs that people have been there for 20 plus years, just because of the good feedback that we was getting for customers, and doing quality work. Everything was panning out really well. So bam, 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 they started stacking me up and stacking me up and stacking me up. I always will try to keep my schedule at all cost. Like I said, I've worked, a couple times I've had to work all night long, shower, and go right back to work to keep my schedule. That's to keep everybody happy. We're booked up, so if I don't make my schedule, then that just throws everybody off. Somebody's got to get put off. Somebody's got to get rescheduled. That is not good, okay? Anyway, I have rambled on long enough. I was actually waiting on some floor patch to dry. I'm still here at the hotel. Today is my last day. And anyway, the point of this video is it degrading to work at a carpet store? My opinion, by all means, no. It's better, if you ask me. If you can get in good with a carpet store, they're going to keep you plenty of work. You're not out looking for work. You're not out spending your time measuring and hustling up work and bidding and all of that stuff. You go to the carpet store, you pick up your jobs, and you go to the work and you go home. It don't get no easier than that. They even bid your jobs for you. Look right here. I'll just show you. This is I don't know if you can see this right here. It says on my work order, it is an estimate. So they always allow, they always will give you time. Or if, let me see what it says here. I don't forgot. Oh yeah, this is to be paid directly to the installer. The above total is an estimated price, okay? So they allow room for fluctuation or anything like that if anything else happens on the job, okay? So they are really good and really understanding, and most family-owned businesses are going to be like that. There's not anything going to be set in stone until the job is over with, because everything can change. Nobody knows what's under the floor or what can happen or anything like that. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Like I said, mom and pop stores are the best people to work for, and I would much rather work for somebody like that than have to go out and scrounge out my own work and make $37,000 in a year. I've done that in the past couple of months. So by all means, you can do all the work you want to do if you get in cahoots with the right people. But getting in cahoots with the right people is totally up to the work that you do, okay? You got to get with the right store and hold your end up to the bargain and make yourself an asset for that company. Make it to where they want you there, okay? Not, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to give this to Floors by Southern Boys. We don't have anybody else to do it. No, there are, at that particular store, there's one, two, they got 2 stores, and they got 1, 2, 3, 4 people that sell there, and all 4 of those people, depending on the jobs and stuff like that, all 4 of those salesmen want to give their work to FBSB because they know there's not going to be any issues with the job. I'm not bragging, okay, y'all, please do not take it like that. It's just that I have built up a halfway decent reputation with these people, and they know if they send me out on a job, 99.9999% of the time there's not going to be any issue, and the customers are going to be happy, okay? I have made myself an asset for this company. That's what you need to do to be successful. You don't have to have 5 crews. You don't have to go out and sell carpet to make money off of that too. You work, and you work hard, and you be an asset to that company. That's the main point I was wanting to make of this whole video. Carpet stores are good to work for unless they're a big chain or a big a box store or something like that. Get yourself a small family-owned carpet store and work for it, and you'll do great so long as you stand up and fulfill your end of the bargain. You can't expect a handout. You have to work, and you have to work hard, and you have to be honest, and everything that comes along with that, okay? There's tons of old sayings from days of old that still apply. A man is only as good as his word. You have to, if you say you're going to do something, you have to do it no matter what, okay? If you have to take a loss on the job, you do it. If your truck breaks down, don't call into work, say my truck is broke down. Rent you a truck and go do your job anyway. How are you making money if your truck is in the shop and you're not working? You have to go rent you a U-Haul or rent something to go get that job done. It don't matter, because you're keeping these people's schedule right, okay? They've already got you scheduled out. So if your truck breaks down, if you have vehicle trouble, if you have marital problems, whatever the issue, you keep that carpet store happy. That's your means of support. They are paying your bills. They are feeding your family. They are everything. Thank you for that. I'm kind of getting a little excited talking about this because people don't understand. There's so many people that just want handouts and, oh, they didn't do me right, or this happened, I can't make it. Hogwash. If you are a good and if you want to go to work, you can work. It's completely up to you. I don't know how many times where before I bought this van here, my van was in the shop. I didn't lay out of work and say I can't do it, my truck's not running. I rented a U-Haul. What are they, like $50 a day, $100 a day, or whatever? I can't even remember. But still, if you're making $400 or $500 a day, you're still bringing home $300 a day after paying your help and paying for the U-Haul, and you're keeping your schedule. You're not interrupting the carpet store. They are still getting their stuff done. You're still making money. It's all in it's all in you, okay? Everything about you make your own life, okay? That might sound a little rude and a little rough, but it's all in the perspective how you see things. If you see that people are constantly out to get you, guess what? People are going to constantly be out to get you. If you look and see the good in everybody that you come in contact with, guess what? You're going to see a lot of good people. The world is full of good people. You just have to look for it, okay? People that walk around and look for negativity in everybody are sad and very sad individuals, because they have a horrible life, because that's all they look for. Anyway, I'm getting way off track because I got way off track. Anyway, stand up to your end of the bargain. Point blank. Get yourself a mom and pop store and do good. I didn't get a chance to read all that, but it looked like it was right on. I'll have to look at that after I get off of here and look at the comments. But anyway, my floor patch, I'm sure, is drying out, and I just wanted to point this out because of that video I seen last night. It really tweaked my curiosity about carpet installers only making $44,000 a year. And then like I said, I seried that, and she said $37,000 a year. If you're living like that, this is way too hard of work to be making that kind of money. For crying out loud, I was paying my helper, was making $30-something thousand a year as a helper. So if you're doing that and working for yourself, shame on you. You're doing something wrong. You need to tighten your belt up and do better at your work. that was a little rough, but that's the truth. Okay, I hope I didn't piss nobody off or offend anybody in this video, but those are my views on the situation, and I absolutely would much rather work at a carpet store than go out and I'm sorry, that was kind of rough. I should not have said that, but anyway, I hope you guys got my point, and I'm going to go back to work. FBSB is out.